Hello guys, and welcome to another video in our channel. In our video today we are going to do an in-depth tactical analysis of the game that was played yesterday, the Super Cup competition. Manchester City won the Super Cup yesterday, and today we are going to do an in-depth tactical analysis of how Pep Guardiola set his team and how they managed to outmaneuver each other tactically with Sevilla. Manchester City becomes the third team in English Premier League history to win the Super Cup. Like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. So Manchester City lined themselves up with their usual 4-3-3. Ederson was key during build-up as he pushed forward and acted as an right-sided centre-back, with Ake playing as the left-sided centre-back and Guardiola playing as the left-back. This prompted Akanji. Since Kovacic and Foden pushed to the half spaces, this created a space in midfield where Akanji dropped into this midfield position to occupy the position that was famed for John Stones last season. This is the setup of how Manchester City were lined up. Ederson out in goal, playing with Walker and Ake alongside him. So, Sevilla were pressing in a 4-2-3-1 shape with a narrow front three. This was to prevent Manchester City's overload as a result of their box midfield by having 5 players, where they could force the ball to Guardiola and effectively employ a touchline press. During the first 30 minutes of the game, Sevilla was so dominant in winning the ball against Manchester City, and this enabled them to immediately launch quick counter-attacks. Luckily for Manchester City, Ederson was good in this game and saved a lot of chances that Sevilla were posing at him. So this narrow front three, covered with El Nasiri pushing and pressing the centre-back in an organized manner, when Ederson or the centre-backs tried to pick Akanji, the midfield overload will quickly pounce on Akanji and win the ball back. This is because Akanji was not comfortable playing with the ball in midfield. Compared to John Stones in this position, who's excellent in this inverted fullback position, Akanji was not quite great, and in the first period of the game, Sevilla were quick in dispossessing him and immediately launching quick counter-attacks. So, Manchester City had only one option, and this was going through the wide areas. The position of Mateo Kovacic and Phil Foden in the half spaces created a lot of spaces for Grealish and Palmer to receive the ball. As you can see here, Manchester City attacking with their front 5. And this is how this was effected. So Ake or any other centre-back would attempt line-breaking passes to pick Kovacic in these forward positions. Because Kovacic was receiving this ball, the midfield and the fullback had to drop deep to cover these men in the half spaces, opening the passes to Grealish and Palmer, who will receive the ball in acres of space. With Kovacic constantly making these half-space runs against Sevilla, Grealish will be able to draw out a fullback and attempt to dribble past a fullback while linking up with Kovacic. And this is where we saw another attribute of Kovacic, where he would play first-time balls behind the opposition defense line for the runs of Erling Haaland. And luckily, the Sevilla defense were quick to cover these runs made by Haaland, but they were quite deadly compared to how Kovacic was quick in picking Haaland in these positions. Therefore, Sevilla decided to sit quite deep to prevent these balls from Mateo Kovacic. So, Sevilla did not allow their wingers to be dropping deep to help their fullbacks, since they wanted them to be high up for counter-attacks. This is how Manchester City enjoyed this system, because the two holding midfielders will now be stuck to play centrally, since the Sevilla wingers were not dropping deep. This would give Jack Grealish a chance to run at the fullback, and it sometimes Guardiola instructed Guardiola to be pushing forward as a traditional left back to create this triangle with Grealish and Mateo Kovacic. In some instances, even Rodri would push and they would form a 4v2 overload in the wide channels, navigating the ball and at times drawing the entire Sevilla team to that side and switching play for calm Palma. Palma in this position will try to run at Acuna, but in most instances Acuna was quick to dispossess him and launch counterattacks. This shows the reason why Guardiola is insisting in signing Paqueta from West Ham, since he needs a right winger who will be able to dribble and cut in like Riyad Mahrez. So when the ball was with Jack Grealish, Manchester City in the second half tried to play these first-time passes and crosses to the far post, and this is actually what gave them their first equalizer. And this position that Grealish was always finding himself in because of the movements of Kovacic were key. Since now Manchester City were able to play those balls, and Palma was instructed to be making late runs in the far post, and this is what resulted to the equalizer given by Manchester City. An excellent team play. Now, let's look at what Sevilla did on possession. So Manchester City, being a possession-based team and high-pressing team, pressed Sevilla in their usual default pressing style, which is the 4-2-4 system, with Phil Foden joining Haaland to lead the line in their press. But Sevilla were not keen to play from the back and rather wanted to go direct. This was aided by Acuna pushing far high up, with the goalkeeper creating a left-sided overload where the goalkeeper or Rakitic could receive the ball and quickly play passes and long balls towards this left-hand channel. They wanted to overload Walker in a 3v1 situation, and in most instances they were able and managed to do this, and this created a lot of problems for Manchester City, and this explained the reason why they were not pressing quite high during the first half. Acuna was a more advanced centre-back compared to Navas, and therefore Acuna was able to reach in this position while drawing in Walker and Lamela drawing in Akanji. This will create a space for El Nasiri, who will receive a cross and head it, since he is more aerially dominant than Nathan Ake, and this is what resulted in Sevilla's first goal. Sevilla were quite dominant in the first half and therefore were tasked to maintain this dominance throughout the game. But Manchester City proved again why they are the best in Europe, by finding chances through their individual brilliance and brilliant tactical play to be able to make those crossing opportunities in the far post. Now, Manchester City win their Super Cup, are now on charge to try to retain their treble. Give us your prediction on what you expect and where you expect Manchester City to finish this season and the accomplishments they have to make. If you've stayed with us till the end of the video, thanks for watching. Have a nice time.